Welcome, everybody. It is great to be here, and I'm super excited to have the amazing Trent McLaren with me from Divi Pay. Welcome, Trent. It is so
Hello,
cool.
Anna. How are you? It's great to see you.
It is great to see you too, and one day we will see each other in person again.
I know, it's been years.
It has been. It feels that way indeed. And it's so cool to have you here on our third live this week. So
Awesome. Yeah, I love a good live. Very glad to be here. Loved the introduction. Hello, I'm jamming out in my room here listening to that.
I know, it's fantastic, and it's going to be cool to see who joins us to chat with us, and obviously people will come in as we go. I did my first one of these with Mel on Monday, and so that was a bit of an experience, but be an expert at it by the time we finish this couple of weeks.
You're a natural at these things. I'm sure you'll be wonderful.
A natural at talking, just like you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So everybody, there's people jumping on, which is cool. Welcome to my first live stream with Trent, and it's awesome to have Trent with us from the beautiful sunny Gold Coast of Australia, for those who are watching. And Trent and I go back a number of years now.
Way back. I always think about E-Way and the Canberra road shows. And then I always, because I remember Michael Wood from Receipt Bank was obviously, he was hanging out as well.
Yeah.
I always think back to those days, back at the, small, dingy little hotels where there was 30 people or whatever. Yeah, very.
They were crazy days, those ones. Like way back in the day. Yeah, they had us at some crazy, creepy hotels at times.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. It was awesome. But we've been on quite the journey. So give me a bit of background give me and everybody who's watching a bit of a background on yourself and your journey.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, since Canberra and that Zero Roadshow, which was nearly 8 or 9 years ago since then. So I started in the accounting tech side of the industry in payments. So with a company called E-Way, they were the first or one of the first payment providers on Xero's invoicing. And then since then, it's been a big roller coaster of, ups, downs and arounds. I've been traveling the world, public speaking, writing, blogging. I won some silly award at one point. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I spent a good chunk of time the last 2 years in London with Practice Ignition. So helped them. We kind of launched the business there, and that went really well. With COVID and everything, we decided to come back to Australia, and I'd finished up with PI, and I recently started with a company called Divi Pay, which I'm loving. It's fantastic.
Cool. Talk to us about Divi Pay and what they do.
So Divi Pay is a smart virtual corporate card. So I can tap and pay with things using my mobile device, so company money, but also capture all the expense management side of it in the same place. So it's both the spend management and expense management solution in one. The idea being to consolidate down a bunch of the different tools and tech stacks that we're using to manage our spend or to help employees manage our spend. And I think the other way I would say it is to stop people just sharing cards around the office, like, hey, who's buying drinks, or how do I pay for this? And it's like, oh, just grab my card for a sec. And it's like, no, stop doing that. It's not good.
It's a little bit dodgy.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's an amazing problem to be solving, though, because I know that, back in my day when I was at Xero, I had a separate credit card so that I could actually pay for expenses and get reimbursed using my own money. Well, borrowed money, but technically my own money at that stage.
Yeah, there's a huge challenge in there that not all of those systems will all talk to each other. And I think the banks in the first part, that technology takes a lot of time to come to market, more so because it's not always the priority of the banks. There's a lot of red tapes to release and continue to improve that kind of functionality that's there. We take a very customer-led approach. Both of our founders were ex-Westpac innovation team. So they worked in a big bank, saw how hard it was for things to get done, and said, we can do this better, and we can serve a whole bunch of customers that the banks never want to talk to because they don't fit the criteria. So we've been going at it for a couple of years now, and The results have been fantastic. Like even coming on board only this year and seeing the growth and the customer adoption has been awesome. Like it feels like you would have got this at early days of Xero, and even I think when you're at Receipt Bank as well. But that early time feeling of like, hey, this is really cool. Like you can feel something building here. And it definitely has that vibe about it here at Divi Pay.
That's exciting. So who's your I guess your ideal customer that, like, I know we're talking to a lot of accountants and bookkeepers, but who?
Yeah, so I'm heading up our accounting and bookkeeping program, the idea being to help educate advisors on how our solutions work, where it's a good fit. In terms of ideal customer, you could look at a few certain scenarios. So things like non-for-profits, charities, sporting clubs, associations, they end up being a really good fit for Divi Pay because they struggle to get access to cards and MasterCards and things like that. The banks don't always want to approve them to get access to any of any tools like that. But I also look at the pain points. So anyone that you're doing a lot of reimbursements for, anyone that you're doing cash with, obviously we're not traveling at the moment, but you find a lot of people working remotely are still spending, but again, we're sharing the boss's card over Slack, over Teams, over WhatsApp, where, there's more fraud scams ever than there was, kind of before. Everyone's so vulnerable working from home. There's so many more ways you can use things like Divi Pay to help put some preventative measures in place. So it's like, cool, I know where every dollar's gone. I can see who's spending exactly what, when they've spent it, what they spent it on. There's the receipt attached to it. It just helps bring a lot more visibility to that whole space.
Interesting. And you just said the receipt attached to it. So there are a whole, like when you're looking and our audience obviously know a lot about Receipt Bank, HubDoc, Expensify, all those kind of guys, like just capture that information as well.
Yeah. So Divi Pay is kind of a hybrid of a few of those different products, right? So like the unique selling point starts with the virtual corporate card piece, but then adding in the expense management layer as well. So that you've got payment happens the moment the payment occurs. I can take that picture of the receipt and bring it through. I've got my email in tray functionality as well, so I can get bills emailed into Divi Pay, but then I can also pay the bills in Divi Pay as well. So I'm not having to deal with ABA files. I'm not having to go into different platforms to get this workflow done. The idea should be that I can manage and pay all of my bills in one place. There's one really cool thing that we're doing soon around digital receipts and smart green receipts. And I can't talk too much about it, but effectively, if you can imagine a world where you could tap and pay at the point of sale and the digital receipt will automatically just extract, capture and apply itself into Divi Pay, which goes into your accounting software. And I haven't had to take a picture of the receipt at all. Amazing.
I know there is a couple of the point of sale systems that already do that. Like they can already email it to me, for example.
Yeah. So this is almost, it's almost like taking a straight data exchange. So if you think about like e-invoicing, it's almost like an e-receipt. So the data is going straight from the point of sale straight to the Divi Pay mobile app, or the straight to the transaction. Even it's not even just into the app where I have to do something. It's straight to the transaction with the GST extracted, encoded, published into the accounting software with the digital copy of that receipt.
Oh my gosh, that is going to be a huge time saver for
massive.
Like when I think about accountants and bookkeepers in the industry and the amount of work, especially in Australia, with the GST versus non-GST, picking that up, coding it, actually getting information from clients.
Yeah, and like this is going to clean up so much of, if you think about how much time we spend chasing clients for info and things, and a lot of it, it's like, there's a few things Divi Pay does to help with this anyway. The moment the payment happens, you're notified straight away, hey, like, give me the receipt. It's in your hand right now because you've just made the payment. Just give it to me right now. The second part of that will be this digital receipting piece. And I think as that becomes more rolled out with all these point of sale systems in Australia, in the next 2 to 3 years, you'll see smart digital receipts being a lot more common. amongst all the providers. So yeah, it's definitely some big changes coming, which is cool. Very exciting.
That's exciting. And how do how do accountants and bookkeepers get in touch with you guys to, like, is there a partner program, or like what's the benefit to?
Yeah, so we do have a partner program. The idea being just the more clients you've got working with Divi Pay, the more benefits you can pass back to them or take on for yourself. Anyone that decides to become a certified Divi Pay partner actually gets access to our technology for free. So they can use our smart cards, our bill payment product, with the mobile app, all the OCR extraction. You would get all that for free as part of being certified.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I use it every day. I love it.
Yeah, I love it when there's a a solution that comes out that solves a real problem.
Yeah, like a lot of it's new. Like a lot of people know how to spend money already, right? Like that part we're not reinventing, but it's all the data capture and bringing it all together to make it easier is what we are doing. And I think, you know, the big challenge for a lot of people is getting access to cards and being able to provide solutions to the rest of our team or our clients where I don't need someone to have a corporate card because they're only spending maybe $20, $30, $50 a week. I'll just do the reimbursement. This kind of just flips that around saying, well, look, it doesn't matter if it's $5, $50 or $200 a week. Anyone can get a card on their phone and you can expense it all the way through properly. And you're managing your funds through the business a lot cleaner.
That's amazing. That's really cool. So let's go and talk. It's been awesome, actually. I needed to find out about Divi Pay, so it's great to bring that to everybody and know so succinctly and so easily why they would work with you, which is cool. Yeah. So what other, because I know that you're quite the technology guy, so what are some other things, other apps and other products that you just, I guess, couldn't live without that would be great to recommend to everybody?
Yeah, that is a really good question. And now that you've said it, I'm like, what would I have said? I live in Slack. Like, I love Slack from a business perspective. I use it every single day. I think it's fantastic because it just helps with team communication. I probably spend too much time in Slack, and I'm one of those people that writes one sentence at a time and hits enter after each one, as opposed to having a full paragraph of stuff. So, you know, I love anything that's going to help with my communication between teams, especially while we're all remote working. And then personal apps on my phone. No, I can't remember / I'm not sure what I would have said.
I think one of the things you've recommended is Apple Pay for personal.
Oh, I love Apple Pay. That is so true. And it's the reason it's weird to even think about it, but I use Apple Pay every single bloody day now. And it's maybe not a good thing, but it's so easy. Like half the time I've got my card ready, I can tap and pay and do what I'm doing, just for my personal use, not even for like work-related stuff, right? If I'm on a website, if I'm ordering coffee, it's like, bam, bam, bam. Like it's never been easier to spend money when you've got Apple Pay. Maybe don't get it if you're trying to not spend money, but it's a very good way to spend money.
Yeah, that's true. I actually need to load mine on my phone.
It's so good. Like, it's so easy.
Yeah, traveling last year, it obviously was not possible through South America, but now that I'm back in New Zealand, and it's really interesting, something I've noticed about coming back here in the banks is the banks just want to make life difficult for small business.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to charge. So there's a lot. You actually have to have your card here because so many places don't take tap.
Yeah,
charging so much money.
Pretty lucky in Australia. It's like 99% adopted all across the country. So anywhere you can pretty much tap and pay with your physical card, you can tap and pay with your phone. So I know different countries have had, and like London was similar. It was all. That's where I first noticed it, actually, because when I was in Australia, Apple Pay wasn't here that much. Got to London, everything was just tap and pay with devices, and that's where I first got addicted to it. And I was like, even on like the tube,
Oh,
I
really?
could tap on the tube just with my phone. I didn't even have to open anything. I could just nothing, just hold it against the reader and it would go, yep, cool, Apple Pay, damn, bam. And I was in. And it
Amazing.
was very slick.
Yeah. I actually noticed that when I went to Australia earlier this year, one of those people that flew over and popped in and out when the bubble was open. But I remember being in Sydney and going up to a guard at the train station going, well, my mobile cards still work? And they're like, actually, now you can just use your EFTPOS card. I was like, that's amazing.
It's very
So
cool.
how do you guys, and I've had a question come through, but with all of this increase, I guess, of tapping and security,
Yeah.
have you found any impact with being scammed or, information copied?
We play on all the same like channels as we're on was part of the MasterCard network and program, so we're protected by all their chargeback schemes and things like that. Like if anything goes wrong or someone is scammed, then obviously you can go through a chargeback process to get that money back. But yeah, I mean the things that can happen to anyone using a normal bank card can potentially happen to. If anyone get access to your 16-digit number in your phone, then they could do that. But they'd need to have it had to have been a leak, probably from the company that you've made paid to.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Wherever I've made that purchase online, if they've had a leak or compromised or whatever it may be, then obviously they can still use the data that way. But the beauty of doing it through something like Divi Pay is that I can instantly issue and delete cards as it happens. So if I want to issue a card now and then delete it in 5 seconds time and issue a new one with new numbers, I can do that. And that would stop all those payments. So it helps put preventative measures in place, and that even if something does go wrong, I can get rid of that card and start again and not have any impact on, because normally I'll just call the bank, wait 3 weeks, get my new card, cancel my old card, change my card against all my different apps. And that's a nightmare, man. That's painful. So
that's really cool. That's a really cool feature to be able to do that so easily.
Yeah, like I've done this before. We've been doing these card tabs. So running these events when events were a real thing. And I've done them online as well, actually. But the physical version you give everyone that's coming to the party a card, digital card, and I put $50 each on each one. And they would just tap and pay at the bar, and it was like, cool, you can use Divi Pay and buy a cocktail, and that's great. If we move to another bar, I don't have to change the bar tab. I just adjust everyone's cards, and we could just bar hop all night if we wanted to, and that could have been your event in a sense. We did the same thing for a few networking groups. They were obviously all in lockdown at the moment, so they've been meeting on Zoom, and same thing, we gave them all access to Divi Pay. They loaded up 40-odd people. They all went and bought drinks and food before their Zoom event that night. And it just meant that they could all still sort of be together, but it was the networking event that gave the money to everyone so that they could, all feel like they're involved and part of their membership.
How awesome is that?
Very cool. Yeah, very cool.
So cool. I've just had someone comment and say the cool. I'm like, that is awesome, because otherwise, like, what are they going to do? You go and do it and you reimburse, and it's just a little bit extra.
Like, the reimbursement piece is killer. And I think the one I got a really good story on one of the universities in Sydney rolled out Divi Pay. I won't say which one for privacy, but they rolled out Divi Pay to give to a bunch of their students as part of like a COVID campaign so that they could have money for textbooks, for some groceries and things like that. But they specifically said to us, can you block certain transactions from happening? And we're like, yeah, we can totally do that. And what ended up happening, they rolled it out. They had 400 or 500 students. They all had, I don't know how much, let's say it was like $100 each. And in the first week alone, we had $32,000 worth of blocked transactions. So people that were trying to just buy stuff that wasn't part of the expense policy.
Yeah.
And what used to happen before Divi Pay is that the students will go spend all this money, 32 grand's worth in a week, send all their reimbursement claims back to the office, and they had to review every single transaction and try and determine whether this would pass the expense policy or not. And obviously a lot of these did not. So think about the amount of admin time saved because you've gone the other way around and said, well, look, here's your card. We've blocked everything, so you can only spend it at here, here, and here. And
amazing. That, oh my gosh, there's so many cool features to this.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's really slick. And that would also help with, you know, in the corporate world, you could block that as well for.
I think if they started blocking Ryan's bar for all the corporates, they'd be very upset.
Yeah, true. That is true. Oh, I love that. I love that. And if anybody's watching and you have questions for Trent, just pop them in the comment because it pops into me here and I can ask while we're still talking. Amazing. And I had a question, but it's gone out of my head. So how can we learn more about it?
Very, very easily. There's two ways. You can either send me an email. It's just trent@divipay.com. If that's a little intrusive and you just want to browse a little bit first, you can also go to divipay.com and check out the website. If you click on the industries button, we have an accounting and bookkeeping page, a bunch of information on the partner program, the benefits, the discounts. And if you'd like to think about becoming a partner, that would then book in a meeting and we can run you through, show you how it all works and get you set up with a free Divi Pay account. And
is it just Australian based at the moment or is it global?
At the moment it is. So it's based on licensing. So the licensing, we have to go through a Australian financial services license to do what we do, similar to what all the banks do to be able to offer bank accounts and cards and things like that. So when you set up a Divi Pay account, you do get your own Divi Pay BSB and account number like a bank account, essentially. That is where all of your money gets held and you split that money across all of your different cards and different bills and all those sorts of things. So for that reason, we are 100% Australian based for the moment. We are looking at New Zealand as probably our first expansion country because it is so close. But I think that'll be a 2022 thing.
Yeah. Well,
as opposed to
we're 1st of September here today, right? So.
Yeah. And,
the year's nearly over.
Yeah.
Just about write it off. I've been asked if it can be used. So from what you've been saying and what I'm understanding, it can be used as a reward or incentive card for referrals from clients.
So we do this now. Like we've had some people that has done a lot of work for us. Have just been really, really cool to work with us for whatever reason. Could be a referral, could be a reward, could be a contracting thing. And we've given them a card with like $200 and said, hey, this is just from us. Feel free to go and spend it on whatever you'd like. It still sits under our account in our portal, so we can see what they've spent. They capture the receipt for us and so forth. And then we can delete them off the system once they've spent it.
Amazing. And they'll just load that into the Google Pay or the Apple Pay.
Yeah, so when you download the app, it'll trigger you to upload into Apple Pay or Google Pay.
Yeah.
Depending on Android or Apple.
Yeah. Amazing. And if they don't, let's say there's people out there who don't have those phones.
So you can still use Divi Pay for like online transactions. So you can get your card details. So you have to have one of those devices to download the app, right? So it has to be Apple or Android in order to actually download Divi Pay. If I can download Divi Pay, then I can get the card numbers. But if I want to actually tap and pay for stuff in store, I need to do that through Apple Pay or Google Pay.
Right. Amazing. And obviously then that same card, myself as a business owner, I've given that to you for, a thank you. And then I want to give you another thank you. I can just put more cash on.
Yeah, you can automatically top it up. So it's the first of the month. All my budgets have been topped up, and I've spent half of it already. So yeah, we can top them up weekly, monthly, or as you go. You can top them up when you want to. They can be single time use only, or they can be in a rolling budget every week or every month.
Amazing. That
And it's also on the bank account as well. So like we can debit funds to go into your Divi Pay account once it drops beneath the limit. So if I've got a $5,000 in my bank all the time, because that's how much I'm spending roughly every month, as soon as it drops below 1,000, I can debit it back to 5,000. So I'm not having to constantly transfer money into Divi Pay. We can set up some automation there so that they can it'll happen automatically.
And that would be great for budgeting, because you're not using credit as such, you're using actual cash.
Yeah, so they are like MasterCard debit cards. So it's not credit. We will have an option for a line of credit in future. So you can get, say, up to 20 grand as a line of credit added to your Divi Pay account, which you then just distribute amongst all of your different budgets and cards.
Yeah. Amazing. That is so cool. And I feel like I could just keep finding out about this all day. But we've got about what? Actually, I don't even know how long we scheduled this live for, but hey.
Yeah, I thought you said it was all day, but that's okay.
Yeah, I know. No, I'll probably get hungry. So I
need coffee, so.
Yeah. So with all your travel and the work you've done in the tech industry and the different companies, I guess, there could be people who are actually watching this that are interested in getting into that scheme, into that world. So what would you recommend?
I feel like as bookkeepers, accountants, there's actually always an opportunity to go and work for a SaaS tech company that's in that space, because they need good people that actually understand bookkeeping and accounting to sit alongside them and say, actually, no, that's not how I would say it to another bookkeeper and accountant. This is how I would talk about it. This is how I would use it. This is the changes I would want to make if it was me. So there's that kind of role is always needed in an app that's focused on the accounting market. It really does depend on the skill set. I've seen some bookkeepers, accountants move into like client relationship roles, and they've enjoyed that because it's not doing the bookkeeping, the accounting side, but they've been able to get in and work with other bookkeepers and help them, set up and use technology. So, yeah.
I know I loved that when I went to work for Xero and the other companies I worked for, like just to be able to take a technology into the firm and talk with them about it from a non-salesy point of view, I guess, was welcomed.
100%. Bookkeeper accounting don't like salespeople traditionally. It's not like they don't. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Anyone that can, actually have or build a relationship and have a conversation with someone can definitely, do well in that bookkeeping accounting space, because people just like to work with people. And if this technology works and there's a use case and exactly how it's, you're there for me when it doesn't do what it said you said it was going to do or whatever, whatever the scenario is, like they want to know you've got that support available.
Yeah, exactly. That's amazing. Now, one of the questions we've got for you is, what's one thing that you'd tell your younger self? What's a piece of wise advice that you would give?
Yeah,
you're not that old, but the younger Trent.
No, I'm not that old, but it's I think we talked about this a little bit in our pre-game, I think, and I know what else I said, I think, when I thought about this last time as well. But I probably would have just, all the things I was doing when I was younger, I would still try and do now. Like, as in, if I was playing sport 4 or 5 days a week when I was, 18, 19, 20, I was very big into my basketball. I would still keep doing all of those things, because eventually my knees won't hold up and I physically won't be able to. But I think, just, still keep having, have more fun, keep living, keep going. I don't regret not finishing school properly when I finished, right? It's not like I always thought, like, oh, should I have done better at school? Should I have gone to university earlier? No, like, I'm very, thrilled with what I've been able to do and how I've applied myself as a result of those things. So I think I would have gone back and said, look, don't stress. You've got a good ethic. Just keep at it, party hard and have fun.
It's so wise, especially now. Partying hard.
Exactly. Party hard while you still physically can hang out with people not at risk of being put in jail.
I know. It's quite interesting now. I enjoy a good red wine or a good white wine, and a couple of glasses, and I'm like, done.
So we bought these fancy new glasses on the weekend, like these big, these big wine glasses where it aerates properly and the thing. So we had to obviously drink a bottle to make sure they work. They work well.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, no, fantastic. That was so good.
Oh, wow. This has been so cool. I think it'd be great. And I guess if anybody contacts, they could even just say that they've heard about you and Divi Pay through the podcast, through this live chat.
Please let me know if this is your first time interacting. If this is our first time meeting, hello. It's great to meet you. Please let me know, and we will look after you.
Awesome. And we'll pop I'll pop the links for Trent's email and Divi Pay's website in the comments as well afterwards. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, no worries. Thanks for having me in the studio. It's good to be here in my white screen room.
Yes, very white screen.
Just a wall, actually, but yeah.
Yeah, I've got lots of texture going on behind me.
I know, and it's just, we're opposites. You know, I wore a flashy shirt. No, I didn't.
No. Well, we will, guys. We will keep an eye on this, on the comments. So if there are any more comments coming, then feel free to pop them in, or feel free to drop Trent a line and ask him more questions as well. So
have a great day, everyone. Thanks so much, Anna. Thank you, Mel. Have a great time.
Good. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you more soon.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.